Welcome to Deep Dive. I'm Kevin Benedict, your host. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I'm very excited to have the entrepreneur and founder of Socure with us today. His name is Johnny Ayers. Johnny, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And congratulations on a big round of fundraising.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Funding for the next leg of the journey.
Ah, that's wonderful. So let's go back a little bit on that journey as you were talking about there. And let's just say, was it always your dream to be an entrepreneur, or is this something that came just because you had this great idea, but it wasn't necessarily your dream?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a long journey, starting as a kid, being a bit anti-authoritative, and having dreams of building things yourself. I think this is my second company that I've started, and I think with this one we were particularly excited about the size of the opportunity. I think as we did more and more market research in terms of what legacy and incumbent tools were doing in solving verifying identities on the web, we found that the problem was a lot bigger than we'd initially thought and hoped it would be. And it was amazing how many customers actually were saying, you guys need to go build this. And so, as you know, I think when you look at the market opportunity in verifying people positively on the internet, that's no small market size, and certainly no small feat to try and solve that.
So did you have the idea for a product first, or did you want to build a business so they went looking for a product?
Yeah, so I think the prompt was, how do you positively verify individuals on the internet, right? And when you look at a kind of digital first, mobile first world, how do you verify people that are not physically in front of you, and how do you do it with a very high degree of accuracy across all applications, all channels, across all verticals on the internet? And so I think the initial thesis or prompt was just that. And so we started off, basically with a problem that we needed to solve, knowing that given the size of the market, given the individual and enterprises that we were solving it for, the business was going to figure itself out.
So how long did you guys work on the product before you had your first proof of concept out there?
So first proof of concept was in October 2014, so almost 2 years before the first external test. Most of, obviously, Q4 2014, most of 2015 was all testing. You could call it just trial and error for about 15, 18 months. And really, from a commercialization perspective, we just got going in probably Q3 2016. And so we've been in market for about 3 years now, 2.5 years. So, given the amount of capital that we had to invest, the amount of time and energy and effort we had to invest in R&D and trial and error, it took us a couple of years to get to commercialization.
So in what ways did your kind of product and company direction change and weave during those, between your A round of fundraising and your C round?
Oh, we had it all right from the beginning. This is, it's funny as you get later, you can, the narrative becomes what you want it to be.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
that's why I'm recording. That's why I'm locking in the narrative right now.
We saw all of this perfectly 7 years ago. I think that, some of the initial ideas were around online and social data, right? And so the thought was, if you go back to 2011, 2012, mobile was just exploding. Open authentication was just being used. Facebook Connect, LinkedIn Connect, Twitter, Google Plus existed.
Now we're trying to get rid of all those.
Exactly. And so, I think, we envision this world of basically using a form of a token for your identity across the internet. And our initial thesis was that we could use an overlay kind of graph of all of these social identities. And I think as we started to get deeper and deeper and deeper, we realized that we needed to start to round out with additional data types, email data, phone data, address data, IP data, traditional credit header, and insurance information. And then as we started to round out the data types, then we started to like really focus on the data sources and the features that we were building from those data sources really being best in class. And I think we started with heuristics, right, and rules to start because we didn't have any training data. And so really as we started going through that R&D, through that trial and error phase throughout 2015, 2016, even 2017, we're just starting to build our database of feedback, performance data. You know, Johnny's good, Rick's bad, Tom's good, Andy's bad. And so as that has begun to kind of hit terminal velocity in terms of the amount of new feedback data, I think all of the building blocks of automation that we built over the last couple of years are resulting in a very accurate solution, these short 6.5 years later.
Well, Johnny, I want to thank you so much for sharing with all of us your progression from entrepreneur, or I guess from inventor to developer to entrepreneur, and the best of luck, Johnny.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, and I want to thank everyone out there for joining us today.